Hello there, Star Wars fans, and welcome to another RebelScum.com video. And today we are talking about the toys of Star Wars The Clone Wars. No, not that Star Wars The Clone Wars, not the one with Ahsoka and Captain Rex, but the first one that was also very, very awesome and action-packed in its own right, that came out around 2003 in that in-between stage of us just having had Attack of the Clones and getting ready for Revenge of the Sith 2 years after that. 2 years after this show, specifically. 3 years after Attack of the Clones. We got this awesome series on Cartoon Network done by Genndy Tartakovsky, who is famous for other shows. For example, Samurai Jack, and now Primal. Primal is also very action-packed and follows that same art style and very silent protagonist way of storytelling, and is also just super entertaining to watch. But here we have the Clone Wars series that he did, and it was on Cartoon Network years back with a bunch of really a few minute shorts. It wasn't so much full-length episodes, it was just a few minutes of action-packed shorts that were quick and episodic in their own right, but you can watch them very quickly, and now it's all on Disney Plus. So if you don't have a Disney Plus account, well, why don't you have a Disney Plus account? You have any idea how much Star Wars you're missing? You're missing the Bad Batch, you're missing the Mandalorian, you're missing all of these classics being brought back onto here. For example, this Clone Wars series, Season 7 of the canonical Clone Wars series, and of course, much, 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 much more. So get Disney Plus. And no, they did not pay us for this. But, yeah, it's all on Disney Plus now. You can watch it in two parts. There's part 1 and part 2, which was really seasons 1 and season 2. And it starts right up around the end of Attack of the Clones and finishes up right around the beginning of Revenge of the Sith, right up until the kidnapping of Chancellor Palpatine by General Grievous himself. And over those years and many years after that, we actually got a lot of toys for this line. This is actually, for such a short-lived series in such a small window of time, this is actually a series that Hasbro really went all out on and did a lot of toys for. Around the year when it came out, it actually got 2 toy lines. It got this animated style toy line where you got figures in the art style of the series, and there were quite a bit of figures in that style. Not a ton, but you had regular Phase 1 clone troopers, and some of them in the other officer colorings. You got an ARC Trooper, which was Fordo. You got Yoda, Dooku, Dirge, Asajj, Grievous, Obi-Wan, Mace Windu, and Anakin. And then you got another version of Anakin later on. And then there was also these 3-packs that had exclusive figures in it. For example, the Ghost Hand episode Anakin was in one of those 3 packs, as well as Commander Cody, more episode 3 looking Obi-Wan Kenobi, C-10, off-color versions of some of the villains, like Grievous had a different colored version later on, and so on and so forth. A lot of cool characters, but not a ton. We didn't get a ton of figures in the animated style. One of the ones I'm most disappointed about that we never got in this animated style was we never got any of the battle droids in this animated style, which the battle droids are awesome. I love battle droids as much as I love clones, just about. And it's a shame that we didn't get any droids in this animated style. However, there was also a realistic line that went alongside this one, and it had much more figures. You also saw some repacked figures from the Attack of the Clone line. You also saw some of the first ever releases of certain clones. For example, certain clone officers were first released in this line in various colors. You had the first ever ARC Trooper figures released in this line. You had Fordo, you had the blue ARC Troopers, and you had this awesome speeder bike. You had various versions of Dirge, even one with his swoop bike, which this figure is incredible. You had army builder packs that had 3 different droid variants in it. You had army builder packs that had multiple clones in it. You had even a Jedi army builder pack, which had the infamous Shaggy action figure in it, or one that resembles his character, which is basically just the Shaggy Jedi Knight, the most powerful of all time, but we're not going to get into that now. And that was pretty much it. Or was it? A few years later after that, during the Saga Collection toy line in 2006, we saw more of the Jedi who appeared in the Clone Wars series only get action figures. For example, one of the big Biff Jedis. It was Fal Madama, I believe, and you know, he had his lightsaber, he had his removable boots, he had his robes on. It looked very cool. We also got a Roar and Cobb in the 30th anniversary toy line a year after that, as well as a few of the others, like the Hawkback Battalion clone trooper, the clones that were in the mud, in the rain, with the cloaks on over their armor, just blasting it up. Those guys looked really cool. We got who else did we get in the 30th anniversary toy line? We got a realistic style with the Hayden Christensen likeness version of this Anakin, and we got a few others, just to name a few. There were so many figures. And then a few years after that, in the Legacy toy line, we got more updated figures. Not to mention, during this time, we were also getting vehicles and battle packs with other exclusive figures packed in. For example, the Snow Bunny Padme with Snowy 3PO and the Chameleon droids. We got the Mon Calamari Warrior and the Quarren Soldier in the Legacy toy line, as well as some other updated figures like a more fully articulated Clone Armor Obi-Wan, for example. Various Asajj Ventress figures throughout, and it was just a really cool time to be collecting toys. And then eventually some of them made their way into the vintage collection, not the ones that just got recently announced. For example, there's an ARC Trooper Fordo. I don't believe he's named Fordo on the card, however, but he's on vintage collection card, and he comes with not only his Phase 1, but also his Phase 2 gear from the series. And then recently, the love is still happening for Star Wars The Clone Wars, the miniseries, where most recently Hasbro announced vintage collection 3 3/4 scale figures with an updated ARC Trooper figure for both Fordo and the blue ARC Trooper, as well as the battle droid, some of the Jedi that appeared, and rumor has it we may even be getting the first ever Black Series figures from this miniseries as well. And I'm very excited about that. Seeing that these characters are going to maybe even make the leap into 6-inch scale is going to be very, very cool. While many of these characters are in 6-inch scale, for example, Count Dooku, Yoda, Anakin, clones, and droids are all in 6-inch scale, it's going to be exciting to see maybe our first original Clone Wars miniseries style ARC Trooper make their way into 6-inch scale. Or some of the gear they were wearing in that series make their way into 6-inch scale. Because there was all kinds of cool gear and vehicles that may have been released in 3 3/4 scale, and most of them were. It's really exciting to see the prospect of them coming into 6-inch scale. Guys, thank you so much for tuning into this video where we talked about the toys of the Star Wars The Clone Wars miniseries. Really, this is one that hasn't really had a short amount of toys. There are so many toys, and many things have carried over from the Clone Wars series into canon even, that really, if you were just doing a Clone Wars miniseries display with your collection, there's so many other parts from Star Wars that feed into that as well. What are some characters I may have mentioned that you would like to see in Black Series? What are some characters that I didn't mention that were released as toys that you love that maybe I didn't? Or characters that I didn't mention that don't even have toys from this series that you would love to see get a toy? I would be most excited about, especially a Black Series Dirge. Dirge was such an awesome character to come out of this series and to later be utilized by Dark Horse into the comics. And he has a lot of awesome characters. He's back in the canon thanks to the Dr. Aphra title. So maybe we'll see more Dirge. Who knows? But we'll stay tuned just as you will. Please like and subscribe to us on YouTube and follow us on social media. Check rebelscum.com for daily news, articles, and maybe even videos. And guys, that's pretty much it for today. So thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you guys later. We'll see you another time. May the Force be with all of you, you Rebel scum.